Tonight I'm going to break down why the Game of Thrones absolutely had to end the way that it did, and also explain why I think the best has yet to come. How's it going, guys? Thanks for watching another video. Yeah, so it's been about 2 weeks since the ending of Game of Thrones, and everybody that I've spoken to, including myself, just really didn't like the way that it ended. And during this 2-week period, I'm trying to think to myself, what is it that I did not like about the ending of Game of Thrones? It felt rushed. Yes, it felt horribly rushed, but I just felt not satisfied. And it's not like I disagreed with any of the character storylines, but I just couldn't put my finger on what it is I had a problem with. Until I remembered high school. Alright guys, here it is, the narrative arc. You hated it in high school, but I had to figure out a way to drill down what my problem was with the storyline, and this is a great way to figure it out. So, if you haven't seen this before, this is what every story has, right? Introduction, setting, whatever, character introductions. There's a little bit of a hook here, rising action, climax, falling action, and boom, it's done, right? That's your basic storytelling. Now, as I found about this, and Game of Thrones, of course, Lord of the Rings came to my mind, especially the last movie, Return of the King, because in that movie, they had a similar setup where there was two problems, right? They had the battle at Minas Tirith, and they still had to get over here to the Battle of the Black Gate to get Frodo in Mount Doom. So they had two problems, just like there's the Night King and could have been Cersei, right? They could have swapped them, it doesn't matter. I'm not arguing about what should have came first. But they gave us two big climaxes. The Battle of Minas Tirith was out of this. It was crazy, right? You had the Ghost Army coming in there, swarming through like a bunch of ants, just tearing things up. And then we still had the battle at the Black Gate. This is what made this movie satisfying, because they hit us with two peaks in here. Now, at the ending of season 7 of Game of Thrones, I was thinking that we're just going to have this one big hump in here, right? I thought that the Night King was going to come through, that we're going to hit Winterfell, that we're going to all retreat down to King's Landing, that we're going to kick Cersei out, throw her into prison, that we're going to take the Golden Company, the Dothraki, the Unsullied, and whoever's left in King's Landing. We're all going to unite under one kind of army and then fight the Night King. I thought there was just going to be one bump like this. But as we've seen in episodes 1 and 2, they had a stand at Winterfell, and that's what this climax was. And I thought, okay, cool, we're going to get 2 of these. But you guys gotta admit, after the battle at Winterfell, it just kept falling. It kept falling. And all the meanwhile, we're kind of waiting for this to happen, and it never happened. And that's the reason we felt unsatisfied, because we didn't get a second climax. Now, the absence of this second peak is the reason why I think a lot of us were really frustrated with the ending. Because they set it up so well, right? You got the Golden Company, Unsullied, Dothraki, the dragons in the sky, the scorpions, you got Euron hanging out in the bay, and it just never materialized, and it was super frustrating. Now, forget about all that, right? Let's keep the story exactly the same. Maybe you're not going to give me the battle. There was that one scene where Drogon came down, right? And he was about to blow fire right through Jon. I'm like, oh, this is a chance to give us that second peak, right? I figured he was going to try to burn Jon to the ground, but because he's half Targaryen or half White Walker or whatever, that he was going to survive the flame. In that process, Drogon would have burned Daenerys' body to the ground. Meanwhile, some people would have been kind of coming up to see what's going on, and they would have seen Drogon trying to burn Jon and him being fireproof, and that would have legitimized Jon. It would have been perfect, but you can't do that. Now, here is why it had to end the way that it had to end. Unlike Lord of the Rings, we're still waiting on one more book after Winds of Winter. So if you kind of wrap everything up nicely like Lord of the Rings, right? Aragorn became king, hobbits went back home, people got to go off to the Elven Kingdom. Everything was nice, wrapped up, and it was perfect. But if you do that here, if you give us what we need, there's not going to be anything left for A Dream of Spring. Now, if you remember when Jon went north of the wall, there was a little blade of grass sticking out there, and that's where we're going to get our second climax. And guys, nobody likes to wait for final climax. But what are we going to do? Season 8 is done. George Martin is still finishing Winds of Winter, and they still have to leave room for development for A Dream of Spring. Is HBO going to pick it up? Are they going to make it into the movie? Who's going to be back? We don't know. A bunch of question marks. But that's why it had to end the way that it had to end. And unfortunately, we're going to have to wait for that final climax. Guys, that's the ending of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, please give me the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to Chemo365, please do. And remember, I'll catch you guys later.